The drugs, uh, drugs crossing our border gives us the right to search and seize uh, any person or aircraft as long as they're associated with the border. Don't have to have probable cause.
Right.
As long as they're associated with the border, we can search and seize. And with our job, it was very simple because you knew they crossed the border.
Right.
They're crossing by air. Um, a lot of times when they're doing that, they're flying illegally by not having lights on at night. You know, they're flying low to the deck. They're doing stuff illegal already.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's evident
Right.
that they're up to something.
They're being sneaky.
But we had controllers out in California that controlled just U.S. Customs,
Okay.
and so they would tell us, yeah, we see somebody coming up to the border and looks like he's going to penetrate. Why don't y'all go ahead and launch your airplane?
Okay.
So that's kind of what we did. We went to you alluded to it. We went to a federal law enforcement training academy in Glencoe, Georgia. And that was a 2-month school. You learn federal law and you learn customs law.
Okay.
It's a month apiece. When you get out, you go back to San Angelo and get in the airplanes. Um, uh, I started out in the Black Hawk and a Cessna 210, which is a small single engine airplane for
Okay.
surveillance.
2-seater, 4-seater?
Four. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And it was for surveillance.
2 pilots and
Mhm.
2 other.
Yeah, you have a spotter
Yeah.
that
Okay.
will sit in the back with some binoculars.
Gotcha.
Sometimes that was you know,
Right.
or me.
Okay. Yeah.
You got somebody with binoculars or a camera or something like that, depending on the mission or whatever.
Yeah.
Then later on, it was flying the Citation jet, which is a commercial uh, uh, civilian jet that was converted. It's got an F-16 radar in it
Mm.
and a forward-looking infrared camera built into it also, where you could identify day or night.
Right.
You know, identify them at a long distance and then fly up on them and see who they are day or night.
Yeah. So since you already went ahead and mentioned that, well, let me back up a little bit and preface this part of the conversation with, and you informed me or us that there are certain things you can't talk about because they're higher level of security or whatever. And so there's certain things you can't talk about. And so if we ask and you say, nope, can't talk about that, we'll just move on.
Okay.
With that said, I obviously I'll try to pry a little bit.
Yeah. And notice, most everything that you can ask has already been publicized.
Right.
But for my reasons and me telling someone when I departed that, yes, I'll not talk about that, well, then I won't.
Right.
So,
yeah,
but I'll let you know.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And so, also it gets political.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to try to avoid being political. I think you'll probably understand what we think, just by how we talk about it.
Right.
And it's an ongoing issue. It's a big hot topic in the United States right now with our border. Even I was reading and listening to something this morning, about the Supreme Court making a judgment call on whether or not Texas law enforcement can stop people that appear to be illegal immigrants or not. That's so ongoing political issues, and of course the security of the nation is kind of at stake here with some of these things. And so just a sensitive topic, and so we'll try to be sensitive to that, but want to know as much as we can about your experience there working for U.S. Customs. So you mentioned sort of some of the technology that you were working with on your Cessna. What was it?
Citation.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so you had radar,
correct,
obviously, but you also had infrared.
Right.
And I think we discussed this the other day, but kind of the way that works is radar is your furthest reaching technology, correct, that you're using to identify other aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
or to locate them, I guess.
Mhm.
And then you're using the infrared. How far does it go? 30 miles? Is that
The infrared was almost like is like vision, and a little
okay?
magnification to it,
Gotcha.
but it
Nice.
didn't go out very far.
Okay.
It was kinda like looking through binoculars, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So
And infrared is infrared, basically like a infrared scope on a
mhm,
hunting rifle. You're seeing a
mhm.
heat signature,
Right,
right?
correct,
And so when you're looking at infrared at an aircraft, you're seeing the heat signature from the engines
correct,
primarily.
correct.
Yeah. Are you able to identify exactly what kind of aircraft it is?
Yeah, yeah, we got, since you can pick it up on radar, and then fly to it, you get into a position where they can't see you. And so you're flying uh, a little below and right off his tail, and then you can identify him by his number. I mean, you know the airplane type just by being so close, but we can even visually identify it by number, and then we have that number sent off to California. They run it through their system.
Like a law enforcement guy
Yeah,
using a license plate on a car?
correct.
Yeah.
It's just like that, and into a federal data bank. Most of the planes were stolen. You know, it
Right.
wasn't like you know Joe Blow has his private airplane and he's using it. It's like Joe Blow's airplane was stolen six
Right.
months ago,
It shouldn't be in the air.
and yeah, it shouldn't have come from Mexico or
Right.
Colombia. It should have come from you know Denver
Yeah.
or wherever
Right.
but it was stolen there. So
Yeah.
I'm
we had a lot
curious
of that.
how it's something that seems like it would be incredibly hard to steal.
Oh
How
yeah,
did
yeah. Uh,
how does one steal an airplane?
we did. It was happened all the time.
Really?
Yeah, and a plane could uh, we'd get launched on a plane that was stolen in Houston, and in time he's across the border, we can't get to him in time,
Really?
and so it happens.
So is this a like an aviation department of U.S. Customs that you're working in, or is this just U.S. Customs
U.S.
is
Customs has its own Air Force.
gotcha. Okay.
So we're the Customs Air Force.
Gotcha. That's what
Yeah,
I was
and all that's changed, since I got
Sure.
out
Right.
because of administrations and things that have happened since. But that's
Yeah.
way it was then.
Yeah. And you can speak more to that here in a little bit towards the end of your career, I guess. But at Customs, and I may be crossing the line here, just let me know. But were you guys so you're in San Angelo, you get a call from California.
Hmm.
There's a plane coming north.
Correct.
Did they ever call you for planes headed south?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure would.
Okay.
Sure would.
Were you
But that was after they crossed usually,
yeah.
or they were planes that are suspect that have had a prior history.
Okay.
There are things that we have put on their airplane
Okay.
that when it is airborne, it can let us know that this
See.
is a bad guy
Okay.
because we put this instrument on this guy and we're doing surveillance on him
Yeah.
for casework.
Okay.
So this guy's taking off, and we need to know what he's doing.
Can you talk about what kind of instrumentation that is?
No,
Okay.
no,
I didn't
no.
think so. But I'd like to know. um, were y'all did y'all have authority to fly across the border?
No,
No.
no, not you have to get permission
Okay.
for one, but you wouldn't get permission.
Did y'all work in conjunction with Mexican
Um,
customs?
we would go temporary duty for a month at a time, say. And if we did go to Mexico, uh, it was it was uh, it was prior notice. It was through orders, and everybody knows.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know, the Mexican government knows, and we're getting just detached or sent there, and then we will do what we do for a month at a time.
Okay.
And same with further south.
Yeah. Gotcha. Can you so we kind of talked about the technology, radar and
Mhm.
infrared but can you kind of walk us through the process of you get a call, you get in the air, and then you're moving towards an aircraft. Kind of, can you
Correct.
just walk us through that
Yeah,
process?
yeah. Like I said, the controllers in California would give you a call, and we had uh, pilots on call that day for that particular airplane during that shift, and we're like firemen.
Right.
We could not go anywhere.
Hmm.
And so we had just a few minutes to be able to get airborne. So the plane was already pre-flighted. The navigation system was already spooled up. So all we have to do is have it towed out, and we just jump in.
Gotcha.
And
So y'all had ground crew that
correct,
were helping y'all get
correct,
airborne.
yeah.
Okay.
And then we get airborne. They give us a heading. They give us an altitude. What they're squawking, if they're squawking something on their little IFF, their little transponder code. Uh, if they filed a flight plan, even they could have filed a flight plan.
Okay.
Uh, but most of the time, no.
Right.
They're trying to evade. They're
Right.
trying to keep away from radar. They're trying to yeah, you know, weave in and out of terrain and stuff like that. So, um, so they know. Unfortunately, a lot of the times during different times of the year, it's usually it might be a flock of geese. That's
Oh,
what they see.
yeah.
They just see a blip.
Gotcha.
It's coming across the border, and we got called out on that even at like midnight, 2 in the morning.
Yeah. Okay.
For geese. But anyway,
Would y'all get airborne
we
and
get
find
airborne,
out that it was geese?
get airborne, and find out.
Okay.
Even though we can't see them, we go, well,
Yeah.
it must be.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
Gotcha.
because we can't find them.
Okay.
But we locate the airplane. We keep our controllers informed, um, and we identify the airplane by first reaching out with the radar, and then flying up to it, and then getting a visual identification, and then we'll back off and get above it, behind it, and film everything.
Okay.
In an ideal situation, if he would,
Are
go
you
ahead.
filming with like a good old fashioned video camera?
Our FLIR and radar is associated with a VHS is what it was
Okay.
at the time.
Gotcha.
Had a
Yep.
VHS camera, so everything that you see, radar and on the FLIR was on tape.
So it's recording straight to an actual VHS tape.
Correct.
Yeah. Cool.
Correct. And so we got above it, and then we would follow it. And in a perfect world, that's when we call the Black Hawk.
Okay.
The Black Hawk, we can call it from different places, wherever we're closer to.
Okay.
But San Angelo had our Black Hawk. We had one in Houston, or a few in Houston. We had and some in El Paso. So the whole South is covered. And so we'll launch that, and then that has, the two pilots and 2 or 3 crewmen in the back
Okay.
to take down whoever
To intercept,
to intercept.
basically.
Yeah, and then we film everything.
Yeah. You were that. How long did you fly the Black Hawk in that?
The whole time.
The whole
I was
time?
there.
Really?
Yeah.
You just kind of
It-
bounce back and forth from
Yeah.
the Cessna
Gotcha.
to the Black Hawk.
Correct. Yeah, and I flew 4 different airplanes.
4 different airplanes.
So what did that look like, intercepting a plane in the Black Hawk?
It was always different.
Yeah.
Um, it was depending on it could be day, it could be night. It was the plane is already landed. Well, I take that back. It could be in the air, but we know when the Black Hawk gets on it, we usually know where its destination is,
Gotcha.
because we could follow a plane for 1,000 miles.
Gotcha. So are
And
you?
then we know pretty much where it's going to land.
Okay.
And then we
Right.
get the Black Hawk on it.
So you're not able to. I know, like, and I'm saying this because, like, in movies, right? F-16 comes up to a plane, and the pilots are like talking to them over radio. Are y'all trying to do the same thing? Like, hey, turn around, or who are you?
No, he does not know we're there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he does not know we're there.
So you could get right up beside them, behind them,
We get
and
behind
they
them,
wouldn't know you're there.
get behind them and underneath them, and then we could actually
I guess
see their
at
tail
nighttime, I
numbers.
guess.
And we could go out to the left a little bit and read 3 letters.
And they would
We'd
never know
move
you're
out to
there.
the right, move 3 letters.
Yeah.
Read 3 letters, and then
Okay.
we'll know their
Gotcha.
in number.
Okay.
There was problems though it took us a while to figure this out, but the guys running the dope always have higher technology, it seemed like. TCAS, that is something that came across to the airlines to keep other airliners and other airplanes visual to the crew in case of a possible collision.
Okay.
So their transponders speak to each other.
Okay.
Well, the druggies had that, We didn't know what it was.
Oh.
Only the airliners had just gotten it.
I see.
And so what it would tell them is that there's somebody approaching us. And if there's somebody approaching you and staying up with you,
Mm-hmm.
then it's probably the good guys.
Right.
And we did not know that, but it was evident
Gotcha.
because of their evasiveness.
They would
start being evasive.
Right.
And so we knew that they were doing something, and we figured out after, research and capturing planes and stuff like that, that they'd have these little instruments on their airplanes that only airliners had.
Gotcha.
At the time, but now they're on all airplanes.
Right. Yeah. Standard now.
Yeah. Standard.
So you said take down, right? What do you mean by take down an aircraft?
We the plane would land, and then without
knowing that,
them knowing we were there, and then the citation would be overhead and film everything. The Black Hawk would get behind them and land, and then that's when we disperse everybody out the back.
Gotcha.
And they would rush the airplane.
Gotcha.
And then get the situation in hand, get everybody on the ground.
Right.
Hands, see the hands.
Right.
And check their airplanes out.
Right.
Check them for weapons, and then check the airplane.
Right. So y'all have
I think Tim may have a story or two that he can tell here in a few seconds. Go ahead.
I was going to say, so y'all had like a specific team
Correct.
assigned to the Black Hawk that's going to jump out.
Right.
Intercept them.
Did those teams have like a cool name?
What's that?
Did those teams have like a cool name?
No, not really.
Okay.
Because after I came on, they trained me to be in the back of the citation on the radar.
Yeah.
And I think I was like the first guy, and then there was another guy. And then they trained us to get in the back of the Black Hawk.
Yeah.
So we did it all.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
We did it all.
Yeah, awesome. Cross training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did y'all
SWAT school, everything.
Did the guys in the back of the Black Hawk wear any extra equipment or carry
different equipment?
What'd you have?
More guns, long rifle, or a long gun usually.
Like an M16 or
M16, or not M16, but MP5.
Oh yeah.
Or an AUG, Steyr AUG.
Nice.
Or shotgun.
The AUG is the
Israeli pup.
Yeah. Nice. I'm jealous you got to work with MP5s, man. That's
body armor.
Yeah, body armor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. And so just to clarify, what years are you working for Customs?
From 90 to 2000.
90 to 2000. Yeah. Nice. What does their destinations? Are they mostly flying to regional airports? Or are they landing in
Sometimes they don't even land.
Locations?
Sometimes they don't even land. They throw the dope out.
Yeah.
Out the window. And then we stay with the dope.
Okay.
Sometimes they land.
So they're throwing the dope out so that it can get picked up by other people.
Correct.
They've got a strategic location that
Correct.
they're pushing the dope out, and it's going to be picked up. And I think that's in the movie, which I want to come back to and ask a question about. But were you going to say something else there?
Nope. Go ahead.
Okay. But you had said that you would usually know their destination, where they were going to land. How did y'all know that?
Sometimes they file a flight plan.
Right. So there's that.
They cross the border legally.
Right. Okay.
But if we have prior information on that airplane, because we know who it is, if he's filed, he's got a number.
So you got like a case file.
Got a case going on, whatever.
Or the plane.
So sometimes we know where they're at. Sometimes they're flying a straight line, and we just know where the biggest city is, where they probably are going to land.
Okay. I see.
So it's all just experience and ideas and working. We have enough manpower to keep the ball rolling down the course if need be.
Right. Okay. I got you. That
it's
makes
not
sense.
just one entity.
Yeah.
We'll put other customs locations on it, or even state and locals.
Yeah.
We have radios where we can call state and local and say, hey, take care of this guy. This is what he did, and or stay away from him. We just want to watch him.
Okay. Yeah.
But you keep an eye on him too.
Gotcha. That's law enforcement. Good law enforcement work.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So a plane lands. Kind of getting back to Brennan's question. I think a plane lands. What's the coordination? Where's the Black Hawk when the plane is landing? Are they landing afterwards? Are they trying to get on the ground first?
Yeah, they land afterward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does timing play a role in that? I mean,
it does.
Is it a big deal?
Does. when the pilots is when he gets on the ground, he's taxiing off the runway. He's usually involved. He's usually involved talking with tower or ground, and he's trying to stay clear of other airplanes. He's busy,
Yeah.
but everything's normal,
Okay.
for him.
Right.
And so at that time, we're setting up to where when he does park, that's where we want to be already. We want to be on the ground when he's shutting down,
Okay.
because he's kind of busy.
Yeah.
So once he's shutting down, we're on the ground right behind him, and
Gotcha.
then we rush the airplane.
Okay. So does the Black Hawk have to land somewhere? I mean, I imagine there's other planes in the area, so
Yeah.
they've got to land somewhere specific. And are they taxiing?
It depends. Yeah, it
Yeah.
depends. Sometimes you can land way behind, and then we could taxi
Yeah.
on the runway behind him.
Okay.
And sometimes if there's enough room, we can just sit down behind him.
Yeah.
But you don't want to blow airplanes over,
Right.
which you could with
Yeah.
the Black Hawks.
Okay.
So this is so you're like landing at an airport somewhere,
Correct.
and
Usually.
so they may not even if you land, they may not know that you're there for them. I mean,
Correct.
they probably would have some suspicions if they know they got
That's
drugs
what I was
on
gonna
them.
ask.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Are they?
Did you ever see a pilot have like that? Oh crap!
Oh yeah.
That must be
Oh, yeah.
customs.
Oh yeah.
I'd have to
exactly.
imagine that's a terrible feeling.
Yeah.
Just got dope in the back, and then you see a Black Hawk just boom.
Yeah.
Oh, man, dang it.
So you make the arrest. Does customs take that pilot in custody, or do y'all hand him over to
Usually hand them over.
local
Yeah.
law enforcement,
Mm-hmm.
state?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those guys probably have their own task forces that
Correct.
handle that kind of stuff.
Correct.
Gotcha.
And we could have a customs agent there too. If it's already an ongoing case, this guy's already aware,
Mm-hmm.
and he's usually there on the ground coordinating everything, and he'll take him, or he'll make sure he has their task force to take him.
Gotcha.
But it's usually controlled.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
sometimes it's not. Sometimes we just, you just call in other law enforcement and have them there standing by, since it's
Okay.
so fluid.
Gotcha.
You don't really know where you're landing, but you're keeping people apprised
Okay.
along the way.
Did I'm just curious, did y'all have your own jail or anything?
Mm-mm.
Y'all didn't have any need for that.
No.
No, so you're always handing those guys off
Yeah.
to somebody else. Okay. What about the dope?
That would end up at the at a office, a customs office.
Customs
usually.
office. So that would stay in
we keep
customs.
it. We keep
Yeah.
it federally, because that's going to go as evidence
Yeah.
in
Okay.
federal court.
Gotcha. Can you talk about what y'all would do with it?
You know, we would hand it over to our ground side, and it gets destroyed.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell you anything more about that. really.
Gotcha. Yeah. I was curious. I didn't know if it would get recirculated into some.
They could use it for
Yeah.
use it for casework,
Right.
for undercover work.
Right.
They could use
Yeah,
it
that's
that
what
way.
I was kind of getting at there.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay. Trying to think if there's any more technical questions that I have about being a customs. Anytime you get in the airplane to go intercept, you got a firearm
Correct.
on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just in case something.
Yeah, yeah.
In case you got to sit your plane down and in relation to the bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Interesting. Can you tell us any stories? Just interesting scenarios.
Some people they looked suspicious. They were innocent.
Yeah.
And so that's where you get the deer in the headlights
Okay.
look.
Yeah. That's probably a worse feeling.
And that has happened. But most of the time it was either people end up crossing the border. Sometimes it would be by airplane. Sometimes it would be by foot or on horseback or whatever.
I was going to ask,
So-
did y'all do any intercepting with people just coming across on the ground?
Right.
Yeah.
We did that in the Black Hawk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Did
know,
y'all work hand in hand with Border Patrol?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep, we would.
Okay.
Or
They call
JTF-6.
you or you call them?
If we had a case going, we would work hand in hand, and we have our briefings together and things like that, and know when to do what to do at what time.
Okay.
And so there might be an indication of when we all need to come in. They've got a guy on the inside,
Mhm.
and you see him do something, then that tells us that, well, everybody needs to rush in, and that's kind of how we coordinated things.
Gotcha.
But sometimes it was just, you know, people were on the other side. We knew they were there, and they're coming across, and they're going to come across by horse or whatever,
Okay.
and mule it across, and you know, wasn't really casework, but you know, we built case on it,
Yeah.
and do that.